black
What is a
people.
black job?
You'll have to ask Donald Trump.
I have to ask, well, Donald Trump's not on the witness stand. Could Hillary Clinton have filled that black job? What you call
You'd
a black
have to
job?
ask Donald Trump.
I'm going to take $1 billion from New York City Police Department. Do you still think that's a good idea?
Well, I'm here to talk about hate crimes, not my run
just asking
for
if that's-
city.
if- I'm
I
asking from a
stand by my
public's-
run for mayor, and I
You
appreciate
stand by
the
that
opportunity.
statement. You have to cut the police budget and change what we mean by policing. Do you still stand by that statement as well?
Gentleman from Texas is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks for holding this hearing, and thank you to the witnesses for taking the time to be here and testify before us. We certainly really appreciate that and appreciate your expertise. Ms. Wiley, I have a couple questions for you. Do you still believe in defunding the police?
I believe in public safety, and that means driving dollars to where we're most likely to prevent crimes from happening and ensure that we have responsive law enforcement that doesn't violate people's rights and it prevents crime.
Does that mean driving dollars away from law enforcement?
It means making sure we're driving dollars to the things that support public safety, and that's a
possibly away from
variety
law
of things.
So possibly away from law enforcement.
Well, I think we have law enforcement. We have talked about the need for law enforcement, particularly when we're fighting hate and bias crimes, which
I
have
agree. We
more
certainly
than doubled
do
in this
need law
country since
enforcement.
2015.
Law enforcement's
So I think
very important. During your mayoral race a few years ago, you said, quote, "I'm going to take $1 billion from New York City Police Department." Do you still think that's a good idea?
Well, I'm here to talk about hate crimes, not my run
just asking
for
if that's-
city.
if- I'm
I
asking from a
stand by my
public's-
run for mayor, and I appreciate
stand
the
by that statement.
opportunity
You also
to try to
stated-
drive dollars
You also
to
stated
public
you
safety.
have to cut the police budget and change what we mean by policing. Do you still stand by that statement as well?
I stand by the need to invest in community safety, to ensure that
by
we have a
defunding the
vibrant
police.
civil rights community that is able to participate in
I just want to
keeping
be
our
clear.
community
You
safe
believe in
from hate
investing
and
in
bias.
community safety by defunding the police?
I am here to say that I'm really grateful we have the Southern Poverty Law Center because it is doing work, including with law
and you think
enforcement,
defunding the
to
police
prevent
makes our community
hate
safer?
and bias
Okay, I've got another question for you. What is a black job?
You'd have to ask Donald Trump.
I'm not sure what that means. I'm referring to a statement that you made a year ago on your LinkedIn. "I was so honored and proud to be a New York State delegate for our next president, with Vice President Kamala Harris ascending to her black job."
Donald Trump made a comment that was very stereotypical about black people, and it was a joke about his stereotypical statement about black
What is a
people.
black job?
You'll have to ask Donald Trump.
I have to ask, well, Donald Trump's not on the witness stand, so
Well,
I'm asking you.
and I'm here to talk about hate crime, which I hope you want to talk about as
could
If
well.
the
Hillary-
gentleman will
Hillary
yield, I can
Clinton-
clarify that.
No, I'd like to hear from the witness, but I appreciate it. Could Hillary Clinton have filled that black job? What you call
You'd
a black
have to
job?
ask Donald Trump.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Dr. Swain, got a couple questions for you. And thank you again for being here. In your book, The New White Nationalism, which is excellent, you wrote that in 2002 there were approximately 2,000 KKK members in the entire nation. Sounds like you believe a large portion of them were paid informants. Do you think that the SPLC was involved back in 2002?
Well, there was a scholar named Larry.
If you can turn the mic on, please.
There was a scholar named Larry Wilcox that I referenced, and he did research, and he was very critical of the Southern Poverty Law Center, and he said at one point that there were more paid informants than actually KKK members. And I would concede that the Southern Poverty Law Center was very successful as far as bankrupting the neo-Nazis and the KKK. So I would concede that, but I will also argue that as early as 2009, when I wrote the article that triggered the Southern Poverty Law Center, at that time the new Black Panther Party was patrolling the polls, I think in Philadelphia, and they were intimidating white people, and they had sticks in their hands, and the Southern Poverty Law Center had not labeled them as a hate group. And so in the blog, where I ended with, instead of monitoring hate groups, the Southern Poverty Law Center has become one. Instead of labeling or listing the new Black Panther Party, what they did, they went after Lou Dobbs, and they went after the Center for Immigration Studies and anyone who questioned liberal immigration policies.
Mm-hmm. And we've got about 15, 20 seconds left. Can you just, to sort of close us out, what are the dangers of paying for these informants and extremist groups like the KKK?
You get biased information if you're paying people for information. And one of the dangers for our society is that the Southern Poverty Law Center has pretty much become an arm of the Democratic Party. They are very partisan. They should not have that 501c3 status if they're going to take a side in, if they're going to be biased in how they monitor groups and how they destroy individuals like me.
Thank you, Dr. Swain.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman from New York is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, could I just do one UC?
That's what I'm doing.
Oh, I think they both want. Okay, go ahead.
So sorry. This is in direct answer to the gentleman from Texas question. New York Times, what's a black job? Trump's anti-immigration remarks are met with derision. Trump accused immigrants of stealing black jobs during Thursday's debate, prompting criticism from Democrats and other social media users. So I'm glad to see that the gentleman's on our side. Thank you very much.
Gentleman from New York is recognized.
I have another unanimous consent motion to enter into the record an April 17th letter from the attorneys for the SPLC 4 days before the indictment, where the organization reminded him of his obligation as a federal prosecutor to inform the grand jury of information that negates evidence of wrongdoing by SPLC, of which there is much.
Without objection. Chair now recognizes gentleman from Washington.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and our distinguished panelists. You know, I don't know what happened to the Southern Poverty Law Center. I know growing up in the inland Northwest in Eastern Washington, I had some fond, at least favorable memories toward the Southern Poverty Law Center when we had an Aryan Nations compound in the Coeur d'Alene area, and it resonated with me that the SPLC had played a role in getting those folks out of our communities, and it was generally viewed upon favorably. So I don't know how it went from that organization to what I think today could be accurately described is an almost militant, weaponized arm of a progressive Marxist political project.
In today's heated congressional hearing, what started as a discussion about hate crimes quickly turned into a fiery confrontation over defunding the police, race, political rhetoric, and the role of the Southern Poverty Law Center. Lawmakers pressed witnesses on past statements, controversial policies, and accusations of political bias, leading to several tense exchanges that grabbed everyone's attention. The hearing immediately became contentious when lawmakers questioned a witness about previous calls to reduce police funding. Members repeatedly asked whether she still supported defunding the police and redirecting resources away from law enforcement. The witness responded by emphasizing community safety, civil rights protections, and investments in programs designed to prevent crime before it occurs. However, lawmakers continued pressing for a direct answer on whether police budgets should be reduced. One of the most memorable moments came when lawmakers questioned a witness about a previous social media post referencing Vice President Kamala Harris and a black job. When repeatedly asked to define the term, the witness responded that lawmakers should ask Donald Trump, referencing comments made during the presidential campaign. The back-and-forth exchange quickly became one of the hearing's most talked-about moments. Before we continue, make sure to click the subscribe button and turn on notifications for more breaking political hearings, congressional investigations, and explosive government debates. The hearing then shifted toward the Southern Poverty Law Center, with several witnesses criticizing the organization for what they described as political bias. Witnesses argued that while the SPLC once played an important role combating extremist organizations, it has increasingly targeted mainstream conservative groups and individuals. Questions were raised about its methods, influence, and tax-exempt status. Hate groups have become politically motivated. Critics argued that ideological opponents are too often labeled extremists simply for disagreeing with progressive policies. Supporters of these organizations countered that monitoring hate and bias remains essential and that extremist threats continue to pose serious risks to communities across the country. By the end of the hearing, the divisions were clear. One side argued that combating hate requires strong oversight and accountability. The other warned that political bias is undermining public trust and threatening free speech. As these debates continue to shape national politics, questions about policing, race, civil rights, and political activism remain at the center of America's ongoing culture war. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below.